Welcome to the Sewing Report. I'm Jen. We are live from the sewing room, and we're going to get into everything involving the Simplicity, McCall, Butterick, Vogue, Nomi Patterns situation because there is a lot going on, and the ownership company Design Group America has made some digital changes that you all should know about. I'm going to share my initial thoughts, and also I want to hear from you towards the end of this live stream. If you are here for the first time, I'm Jen. I do a lot of sewing from my sewing room here in Florida. We also talk about community news, so this is considered community news. So we're putting the report in Sewing Report. Before we really get into it, I also want to thank today's live stream sponsor, the Sewing Report Etsy shop. I've got fabric and sewing supplies for all your needs, and new for 2023, I am starting to make and sell handmade gift items, so you're welcome to check that out too. Lots of stuff. I've got some new items in the shop, and we are having a sale on quite a few items. Yes, these are skinny scarves for handbags. Those are new in the past week or so. Lots of different things, something for everybody. Because this channel is not monetized yet, my own Etsy shop is the sponsor of this stream. And I'm also trying to get to 1,000 subscribers here on this channel, so would really appreciate hitting the like button and subscribing if this is something you are here for. Anyways, so last week I was checking out the McCall Instagram, and they said they were going to make a big announcement today, and they have. So we're going to go over everything that they've announced. There are some fairly significant changes that are going to be taking place. Some people are happy, some people were hoping for something different. I know everyone was speculating last week on what was going to go on. All right, so I'm going to bring up the Instagram post today, and we'll go over everything that they're announcing. And basically it's digital. And I think this makes a lot of sense, so I'm going to share some of my initial thoughts. So they put together this Instagram reel. All right. Oh, the frequently asked questions. Okay, so we can also look that. Okay, so all of the pattern brands will be on simplicity.com. So that includes like the Butterick, Vogue, Quick Sew, McCall, Nomi Patterns, I think Berta Sew, I believe. Mimi, all the Simplicity Mimi G patterns, the Simplicity patterns. So everything will be on one website, because I know you had to go to a few different, like you had to go to Simplicity for some stuff, Berta Style for some stuff, and then go to Something Delightful, which honestly is a website name I never really understood. And I know a lot of you also were like, what's up with that? So the launch date has not been announced yet, but all of the patterns will be merging onto one website. I'm not sure if that means the other websites will be going away, or maybe if they'll just redirect to the Simplicity website. Not really sure. And I did ask, because I did ask a question, and Mimi G herself answered, which is awesome. She seems really cool. Because a while back, I know some of these pattern companies have gone through a number of different owners even over the past couple of years. So as of right now, Design Group Americas owns everything. And their parent company is actually a different company, and they're based in the United Kingdom. So the actual like corporate parent for all of these pattern companies is actually in England. So just so you're aware, I did not know that until today. But they're also planning to greatly expand the PDF pattern offerings. So if you're into PDF patterns, that will probably be really exciting for you, including a lot of the out-of-print patterns, which I think is pretty interesting. They also announced that they're going to be doing additional tutorials and sew-alongs, and hopefully have more resources for people making the sewing patterns. We don't really have a ton of detail on that yet, but that's what they have announced. Let's go to the, I'm curious. Okay, so they said they have some frequently asked questions. I'm just sort of, I don't see that in here. All right, maybe it's under this exciting news tab here. All right, so let's check this out. All right, I don't know. All right, let's check this. Okay, so if you are having questions about anything, this link seems to be okay. Not, it doesn't seem like this answers all the questions. Somebody also asked if that meant that they would be phasing out the paper patterns. I really hope not, because I know a lot of us like the paper patterns, especially when we get like the sales at Joann's for like $1.99. So I don't know. I don't know if you've seen this news. What does everybody think? Is this good? What do you like? What's the consensus? Were you hoping for something different? I really didn't know what to expect. Some people were speculating that they would be announcing some sort of partnership with the Ditto Patterns sewing projector. They did not announce that. That could, who knows? Maybe that would happen in the future. I have no idea. But that's what they've announced today. I know some other comments I saw included people hoping, well, one, they were hoping for when PDF patterns do come out that there is a print shop file. So instead of like printing out all these pages, cutting all the pieces and taping them together, you could take them to a print shop. We don't have all the details yet, so I'm sure they'll be releasing more details in the next, I don't know, months or so, something like that. But I still have some questions. I think this is good overall, and I'll kind of talk about why. Again, I'm not a huge PDF pattern person, but I think this is overall a really good thing, and I'll kind of talk about that. Also, I apologize in advance. I feel like super bloated today, so I'm having some I'm just having some stomach issues. So hopefully things are cool. But I hope everyone's having a great Monday so far. I know I wasn't feeling like that up for going live yesterday, so I thought I would do it today, especially since I knew the announcement was coming out. But I want to chat about this because I think this is even though this might not seem like a huge deal to some of you, I do think this is fairly important news, and I think this might maybe shift the whole. I think this could change the industry a bit. So we'll go for that. But let's check out. All right. So we saw the exciting news. Let's check out. I was gonna check something out here. Okay, so let's go to the Simplicity website. So apparently all of the patterns will be on this website. And Mimi G confirmed for me that because for a while Simplicity, while they had some sort of connection to the other pattern companies, I guess they had different ownership, which I did not know. So that was interesting. But I kind of like this. I like all of these changes. But I know some folks were hoping for more. Like I saw some interesting comments that they were hoping that, because as it is now, there's a certain size range. Like if you buy like sizes 4 to 14 or whatever, it's in one envelope. And then if you want to buy sizes like 16 to, I don't know, 24, is it? I'm not sure. That you have to buy another envelope. And some folks that are kind of on the border of that are frustrated because sometimes they feel like they have to buy both size ranges. And I know some customers were hoping that everything would be combined. I thought that was a really interesting suggestion, and I actually do think that would make a lot of sense. So there's that, but I don't know, I think, so here's my take as just from the business perspective. I think this makes a lot of sense, and here's why. One thing about buying sewing patterns, at least for me, is that the patterns go out of, I feel like there's so many patterns that come and go. A pattern's new and then it goes out of print, and then you can only get it on like the secondary like resale market, like on eBay or whatnot. And I think it makes a lot of sense for a company like Design Group Americas that has all of this intellectual property to take it and do something with it. I can see why sometimes they don't want to bring patterns back into print because there's a lot of overhead and a lot of cost with printing physical patterns. But I think it makes a lot of sense to take all of these patterns and convert them into PDFs and sell them digitally. I think the overhead would be much lower, and it's kind of low-hanging fruit for this company as a business because they already have these patterns. They've already been designed. They're not currently doing anything with them, so why not take them and make them into digital patterns and have people be able to continue to purchase them if they want to digitally. So from my perspective, I think that makes a ton of sense, and I don't, why it took them even so long to do that. Another person did ask on the Instagram post that, again, they were hoping this wouldn't mean fewer paper patterns, and I really hope not either, because I personally prefer paper patterns for clothing. I do not like printing, taping, and cutting out the pattern pieces unless it's for very small items. Like if it's for like a zipper pouch or something, that's not a very big deal. But when you're doing like a dress, I don't want to have to I would rather spend the $4 and just be able to trace and cut than have to go through all those steps. So I hope for paper pattern purchasers like me that continues to be a thing. I don't really want everything to go completely digital, but I think offering those digital options makes sense. And I know for all of you that are into the sewing pattern projector thing, I think that's cool because I'm sure y'all will find a way to take these PDF files and make them suitable for pattern projecting. So I think more digital PDF patterns from this large company, I think makes a lot of sense. And especially since I checked the website, like they're currently having a sale on like the McCall Butterick Vogue patterns, and the digital patterns were the same price. So a lot of the digital patterns on McCall's were $3.99. So I think that price is very appealing, and also the instantaneous downloadable nature of the product, I think would be appealing to a lot of customers, particularly like the younger, more tech savvy people. I think that would be very, very good. Just my opinion here. And I think the other thing I would say too is that it seems to me like this whole pattern ownership group is trying to compete directly with the indie pattern companies. Because one, a lot of these indie pattern companies offer PDF patterns. So I think they're trying to kind of level up. They have a ton of patterns. Why not turn them into PDFs? I think also by offering more online resources, hopefully I did check out their each pattern brand's YouTube channel, and I did notice they are uploading more complete sew-alongs, which I think is great. I've noticed the Nomi patterns, all of the designers have done sew-along videos, and for me as a customer, that's something I really look for when I'm purchasing a pattern is how much additional support do I have with this pattern? Like I've actually been working on this week, I know, kind of off camera because I didn't want to like bungle through it. But one of the reasons I decided to make this noodle head pattern was because Anna, the designer, had done a video sew-along. So I actually was able to watch the sew-along, and that really, for me as a visual learner, and I learn a lot from video, that made it very helpful for me. So I think the more Design Group America can have sew-alongs and video tutorials in addition to just the basic pattern instructions, I can see that being much more appealing for sewists. And also the price point, again, I don't know, it seems like they're kind of coming for the indie world because their prices are also lower. So if I've got like two patterns, one is a Big Four pattern and the other is an indie pattern company, similar designs, similar resources, both have sew-along videos to it. One is $12 and the other one is $4. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to buy the $4 one. So I think price-wise, I can see this making it harder for the indie pattern designers being able to compete with a large company like this that can, I don't know, maybe it's economy of scale, but they can afford to charge less for each pattern. So I think this is a very interesting development. Let me know what you think in the chat and in the comments. I will be reading some of your comments in a little bit. But yeah, lots of things going on. But let me kind of show you, because I was on the Design Group America website and I was just curious to see what all they owned. Guys, they own a lot. They own a lot of stuff. So this is the website, and I didn't even realize this was the ownership company until today. I was like, holy cow. So they look at all of the properties they own. McCall's, Simplicity, Vogue Patterns, Butterick, Quixo, New Look, Offray, all of these other random like crafting related companies. I think they own a lot of like stationery and paper type stuff. This is a lot of stuff. All right, Upscales. Like, I've never even heard of a lot of these companies. I've heard of some of them. I think they also own companies that do like greeting cards and gift wrap and whatnot. But this is a lot of properties. This is a very large company. So yeah, look at all of this under one umbrella. I had no idea they owned all of this stuff. Let's take a look at the let's take a look at their history timeline too. And again, Design Group Americas, even though this is a US based company, their actual parent company is a different company, and they are based in the United Kingdom. So this company, yeah, let's see here. 1903, okay. So they started off producing postcards in Boston as Hysil. Okay, so they do have a pretty long history. But again, this company is now owned by, I know it's very like corporate. This is a very like corporate thing. Everything is owned by like another company. So there's a lot going on here. But this is, yeah, so it says a part of IG Design Group PLC. And if you click on IG Design Group PLC, you can see, let's see here. Yeah, this is all a lot of like corporate. We're an international family. Like, this company owns a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Investor high. I don't know. Is this publicly traded? Probably. I don't know. Registered in England and Wales. Share price information. Investor highlights. So again, this is like not just a company. This is an international conglomerate. So again, I know a lot of you probably want to support the indie pattern companies to get away from stuff like this, and I totally understand. I just want to shed light on who actually owns all of these pattern companies. I do want to say though, I did not realize this, but Brittany Jones, who is a well-known sewing blogger and vlogger, she actually does, it looks like she does social media for Design Group Americas. That was cool that one of us is working for the company. I know Mimi G has a very deep partnership with Simplicity, so that's cool. So it's cool that they are bringing in people from the community to work at this company, because obviously I think that's, I'm sure they probably had some input on what was maybe they had some input on what was going on, but I think it's good because these women obviously know a lot more about the sewing community than, some corporate C-suite executive. All right, so let's take a look at some comments and see what everybody thinks. Okay, let's see here. Denise, this should be interesting. Some of the other company patterns combined under that sew something or something like that. All right, are they trying to fit? Okay, what is going on? Okay, oh, I think I need to all right. Are they trying to fit into Ditto? I don't know. That was not announced, but that seems like a natural progression since they're trying to go the PDF pattern route. But I think this is interesting because to me, this means that they're going to be competing, this large company is going to be competing a lot more directly with all of these indie pattern companies that do clothing. So I think this is very interesting. I don't know, at least I think. Sorry, my computer seems to be like kind of delayed right now, so every time I bring up comments, it seems to take like a minute to actually load. All right, let's see if this comes up. I don't like PDF patterns. I'm not a huge fan either. I think this is pretty important for the community as a whole. As a customer myself, I would prefer a paper pattern. In fact, I bought this, this is a PDF as well. I chose to buy the paper pattern, and indeed, it did come with it did actually come with templates you cut out, so I didn't have to print anything out. So I'm showing you how I actually consume stuff, and that's how I purchase patterns myself. If there's only PDF patterns, obviously I kind of have to buy the PDF patterns, so it is what it is. I just don't like printing and taping and cutting out a bunch of stuff. And then if you're going to take, if they make the whole copy shop size, to me that's a hassle, because then you have to take it to Kinko's or FedEx or whatever, or copy shop, and get it printed off. You might as well it's not even that cheap to do, so you might as well just buy the paper pattern if they have one. If you have Photoshop, you can put the pieces together and make a large format pattern. All right, cool. I don't do that because I'm not that great with Photoshop. All right, here we go. Simplicity didn't allow out-of-print PDF sewing patterns to be sold to Canada in the past. Interesting. I really hope that changes. PDF patterns, you have to spend time taping them up. I'm used to it as a cosplayer. Yeah, I'm sure you probably have a lot of kind of specialty patterns you get and whatnot, so that makes a lot of sense. All right, I'd like to know what the cost will be. So from what I can tell, Jackie, I was looking at the website, and the PDF patterns seem to be the same price as the paper patterns. So if you go on Something Delightful right now and you check out all the digital patterns, there's currently a sale on some of the brands, and I noticed that the PDF pattern, at least for now, costs the same as the sale price. So that was kind of nice. All right, digital patterns will always be in stock. That's true. And I think that's why, to me, it makes sense for this company, because there's no overhead. They don't have to worry about printing out a bunch of patterns and wondering what will sell and what will not. Because this is a digital product, I think this becomes more or less like passive income for the company once you get the pattern converted into a PDF pattern and do all of that stuff. So I think that makes a lot of sense. All right. War Paint and Unicorns. Also, before all the patterns were being printed by the same printers in the use for these competing brands original? Okay, not really. It makes sense to not fight for printer space. All right. We've got Rebecca Murphy here. All right. I don't think the big pattern companies can retake too much market share back from indie pattern companies, especially the indie companies that cater to a specific crowd size. Example, Cashmerette. That's an interesting point. But they did say in their, I think in Brittany's, Brittany did a little video Q&A. She said it seems like they are trying to be more size inclusive, which is great, because not all of us are obviously the same size or of the same body type. The other thing that I would say is that a large company like this could probably afford to do more in this area. So I don't know. I think if they were to cater to people with different body types and had a lower price point, I do think for a lot of customers that would be appealing, especially people who are on a budget or don't want to spend. Some of these patterns are like $20 a pattern, and that's not cheap. If you have a large company like Design Group America come in with all of their brands, and they're only charging $5 or $4 with the sale for a pattern, they've got the same support, video tutorials. They've got I've noticed they've been signing influencers. I can see them being fairly stiff competition. And again, it also depends with these indie pattern companies how strong their brand is. So I would not underestimate this change. I'll just say that. And also with as we're seeing in the last couple months, artificial intelligence is getting freakishly advanced. So imagine if artificial intelligence was able to automatically digitize patterns or automatically create sewing patterns. I don't even think we're that far away from that type of thing. If you've seen what ChatGPT can do, or AutoGPT, or Midjourney, it is insane. So I definitely can see in the fairly near future AI being able to grade a pattern. Again, there might be some tweaks, or there may be some things that a human eye needs to correct. But I think AI is going to be able to do a lot. And I can see AI disrupting the sewing industry for sure in certain areas. I would say these changes are coming very swift and very fast. And the stuff that I'm seeing come out of AI, like the AI is writing songs in the same style of specific artists. It's creating art. Like, it is freaking nuts. So I would not underestimate anything at this point. I think all bets are off. I think anything can happen. Sorry guys, I just need some water. Yeah, I feel a little rough today, I'm not gonna lie. But this is pretty big stuff. But what does everybody think? Are you excited about having more PDFs? I also think this is an easy way for Design Group America to be able to offer all of these out-of-print patterns fairly quickly and easily to customers who want it without having a huge outlay of capital to print all of these patterns out. So I think for them, this is pretty low-hanging fruit. I would do it if I was in that situation, and I'm not even a big PDF pattern person. So that's kind of what I think. And I would tell this to all the indie pattern companies. You need to offer more. You need to offer more value to your customers, especially if you're charging $12 to $20 for patterns, which is fairly common, especially with clothing patterns. I'm kind of like I think that's expensive for me. So I think this is all pretty fascinating. I mean, I don't know. This is all getting kind of crazy. All right, War Paint and Unicorns. Getting patterns customized to multiple dimensions is coming for sure. Yeah, and we're already seeing that now with, again, with the Ditto patterns. That is one of the selling points. And actually, that is something that I thought was cool about it. The only thing I noticed is that it was only for the Ditto brand patterns and it wasn't for the other ones. But with artificial intelligence and all of the technological advancements that are happening rapidly, customized patterns, I think they're going to be, I can see them being very common, very easy to do in the future. So maybe someone's going to create a super cool app or something that makes it a lot easier for sewists to make custom patterns just for our body types, which is really kind of a neat thing because we all have such different body types and body shapes. Everybody's different, so I think that'll be pretty interesting. Especially, but seriously, guys, if you have not played around with ChatGPT, it is freaky. It is seriously freaky. I was kind of doing stuff the other day, and it was really eerie. I was like, oh my! I was like, this is weird. It was very strange, kind of cool, but also a little scary. So there's a lot coming our way, I think. Sorry, this chat feature is very slow today. All right, I guess I don't have a preference of PDF or paper. I mount all patterns onto brown butcher paper so they are a little more stable stable and durable for repeated use. Yeah, I do that for some of my patterns, although honestly, I think one of the good things about the $1.99 pattern sales or the $3.99 pattern sales is that I will buy multiple patterns and I'll just cut up whatever I want. And then if I want to make a different view or a different size, I just take another pattern. I think when the patterns are that cheap, like if you're getting them on sale for $1.99, that makes it, you know, that I feel like that makes it worthwhile, especially when they're that inexpensive. What was I going to say? The other thing about bringing the out of date patterns, or at least having like a total archive of the patterns, is that one thing I worry about when I'm featuring patterns here on the channel is if I make a pattern and then it's out of print, I'm kind of like, like that's one thing that deters me from doing specific pattern videos, because I don't know how long that pattern is going to be in print for, and I don't want to do a lot of videos about patterns that people can't buy anymore. But if you can perpetually get the PDF version of it, then I, as a creator, would be more likely to do pattern-specific videos, knowing that people could still continue to get the pattern. Because again, the same thing, like if I'm featuring fabric, if the fabric is out of print, I feel a little bad being like, oh, hey, I'm using this fabric, but you can't get it because it's been out of print for 5 years. If the pattern continues to be available, it makes more sense for me to do videos about patterns at that point. So for content creators, there's a benefit to that as well, because then we don't have to worry about, you know, nobody being able to get the pattern we're featuring in the videos or in the content. All right, Denise, I don't want to print and tape pieces of PDFs, but would like the option to print full size for a low cost at a copy shop. If I can get blended custom patterns, I would pay for that. I would too. If I could input my measurement and it would spit out like a PDF that was perfect for me, that would be amazing. And I would pay a little bit more for that for sure. And if I could take that print shop, if they had a print shop version that you could take to a copy shop, I would probably do that. So I think that's a really interesting, very interesting idea there. So yeah, that's what's going on today. I'll kind of let's do a quick recap in case people are kind of just tuning in. All right, let me share my screen. We'll go over this one more time. So today, all right, this is really a little bit laggier. Today, the McCall Pattern Company and the Simplicity Creative Group put out a post announcing that all of the pattern brands will be available on one website, simplicity.com. The launch date is coming soon. They've also announced that we can expect a bigger PDF pattern selection, including McCall's and Butterick previously out of print patterns, and new Simplicity Mimi G PDF patterns and Nomi PDF patterns. Says, we are so excited to have all of the brands together to give you an easier, user-friendly experience. And they also say that they're going to be producing some additional resources for us. It looks like there's going to be some more sew-alongs and hopefully more like, you know, maybe more resources for new sewists, like maybe about techniques. I don't know. I think if all of these brands can produce a good number of video tutorials and video sew-alongs, that would be huge, because that is currently one thing that I think a lot of indie pattern companies have an advantage of, is that they do sew-alongs, they have video tutorials. But I have noticed lately that Simplicity in particular has been doing, and Nomi Patterns has been doing sew-alongs for a lot of their patterns, which is obviously very helpful to us when we're making the patterns. I personally really like video tutorials myself. I'm a big fan. So that's what's going on today, just announced from the Design Group Americas. That's the company that owns all of these brands. Simplicity, McCall's, Butterick, Vogue, Nomi, New Look, okay, not New Look, and Berta Style. Wow, I cannot talk today. So that's what's happening. If anyone has any questions, let me know in the chat and I will try to answer. Also, if you have any comments or if you just want to share your own thoughts, let me know in the chat or in the comments if you are watching on the replay. But pretty exciting news. I do think this is fairly large. news for this company. All right, Nikki's Crafty Life here. Hello, Nikki. This makes sense. Why have separate websites? Exactly. And I know a lot of us were kind of wondering why that one website is called Something Delightful. To me, that just didn't really make a lot of sense. So I think having everything on one site, like, that's kind of a no-brainer. Like, I don't know why I don't know why it wasn't that way to begin with. That makes a ton of sense to me. So yeah, there's a lot to think about, but I think this is really, hopefully this can kind of usher us into the new era of sewing here. But I'll show you what I've been working on. I worked on this last night. I made the Noodlehead Yarrow pouch. This is a pattern. It comes in 2 sizes, a wristlet and a pouch. I made the pouch last night. I think it came out okay. I learned some lessons for the next one, and I have 2 cut out, so I'm going to try to finish the other one a little bit later. I think I might do a live stream making more of these. I just didn't want my first time sewing this ever to be on camera, because I just felt like I was going to bungle through it, and I definitely did. But this is a really cute pattern, guys. It's a little bit tricky with a curved zipper, but I used my very sticky basting tape, and that really helped. So I think I'm going to do something video-wise to kind of have some tips or something, because this is a really fun, like, look at this. And I used this Rifle Paper Company canvas. Super cute. It's got a little D-ring on it. I did not make the wristlet part, but there's an optional little, like, wristlet strap. But it's really cute. You can, like, hook it to your keys. You could hook it to your keychain. Use it as kind of like a little coin purse. It's got a card slot, and then it has a pocket that goes all the way down. I lined mine in matte laminated cotton, so the inside would be easy to clean, and it kind of matched. Got the I forgot what these leaves are called. They're very popular now. What are these leaves called? I see them everywhere. Yeah, I can't, the Monstera, is it the Monstera leaves, I think? But I have, like, I think a yard or 2 of this. It came on a roll. It's really cool because it matches a lot of, like, floral print fabrics, but I also really like that this is wipeable. I think that's a great, I do really like laminated cotton for that reason. So this was mine. I think it turned out really cute. Yeah, the curved zipper, I feel like I could have done a little bit better with sewing the curve here, but it doesn't look terrible. For being my first one, I think it looks decent. You could also, instead of doing a D-ring, you could also do a D-ring with a swivel clasp if you wanted to do that. I decided just to do the D-ring. But that is my first Yarrow pouch, and one reason I did like this pattern is because Noodlehead has a complete sew-along on her YouTube channel. So that made it a lot more appealing. And I finally was able to figure out how to use zipper by the yard stuff and figure out how to make it look nice with a project like this. So I think I might do a video on, like, doing these zippers, because it was a little bit tricky, but I definitely learned a lot by making it. So that's my plans. I am going to be making some more purse scarves this week, hopefully with some different rayon prints, the stuff I unboxed last week with the Rifle Paper Co. rayon. So I've got that in the works. Yeah, I've just been feeling kind of gnarly this last couple days, so I'm like, ugh. So that's what's going on with me. Let's read some more comments. Okay, we got Debbie in the house here. She says, "Hi Jen, it feels to me like this is a step toward promoting more Ditto support." It might be. Maybe they're going to be partnering up and offering more Ditto sewing projector compatible patterns. If they could offer, and that's the thing, if there were a lot more patterns that were customizable, I also think, honestly, I think Ditto Patterns needs to lower the price on that device. I still think it's really expensive. if they lowered the price and maybe stepped a little bit away from that subscription model a bit, I would be more interested in it. I guess that's just my take. All right, we got Denise. I would be more inclined to try a more advanced pattern if it's combined with a good tutorial. I've made backpacks and duffel bag that I wouldn't have tackled, but it had a great tutorial. Exactly. I feel the same way. I think if the support material for a pattern is good, I'm willing to pay a little bit more for it, and I'm more likely to buy the pattern in the first place. I have personally been disappointed with patterns where I bought the pattern and then discovered the resources for it were pretty lacking. So that's always a little bit disappointing when that happens. That's a cute pouch, a unique twist. Thank you, Debbie. So what does everybody think about this? These digital changes with Design Group America and all of our big pattern companies? Is this good? Is this bad? What do you think is going to result from these changes? Will this change the industry at all? I don't know. I think there's a lot we'll be seeing over the next couple years. It is a little bit troubling that it seems like a lot of these patterns have undergone so many ownership changes, even over the past decade or so. That's a little bit troubling. You kind of wonder, like, are they really doing okay financially? Is there a risk of them shutting down? I have no idea. But it does seem like a lot of these companies are trying to figure out how to make this profitable. So that's just my opinion. All right, Nikki. Anything is better than the crappy tissue paper and big instruction sheet with unhelpful instructions. So here's the thing. I don't mind the tissue paper. I do wish they had better instructions. But again, just to play devil's advocate, I think that's also why they tend to be more budget friendly as well. So I feel like with the big four patterns, or whatever you want to call them, you kind of know what you're getting at least. But I think if they offer some blog posts, blog sew-alongs, video sew-alongs, that will definitely go a long way to help. But at least for me as a customer, I feel like since the price is so low on the patterns, I'm not that bothered by the instructions, even though the instructions are kind of a joke. We all kind of know. But at this point, I feel like we kind of all know what to expect with these things. So we're like, it is what it is. All right, Denise, that is disturbing. The pattern companies have changed hands a lot over the years, and the move to digital may be a way to save the big four companies. It may be, because I think this means they'll have less overhead because they won't have to store all of these paper patterns, pay to have all of these patterns printed, and then have to figure out what to do with all of the patterns if they don't sell. I know we've kind of heard the rumors over the years of the big four pattern companies destroying patterns, or like having the retailer having to like cut open the envelope or like do stuff so that they're not sellable. If that is happening, that is kind of disappointing. I don't know. I can't confirm any of that, but you kind of hear rumors of that every once in a while. So if we can save a few trees and not have to do that, or not throw away perfectly good products, I think it's a win-win for everybody. And that also means that these patterns will continue to be available in some form for years to come, even if they're not necessarily available in the paper form. So I don't know, that's my take. I don't have super strong feelings about any of this, to be completely honest with you. I'm just kind of like, this is just sort of a stream of consciousness type show. I'm just sharing my honest thoughts, but none of this is my hill to die on or anything. So I'm just sort of like sharing what I think. All right, I'm trying to, all right. This is just, I don't know, something's happening. My StreamYard is just very slow tonight. But we are streaming tonight on multiple platforms. So to everyone watching, thank you. This is a lot of fun. Let's chit chat for a while. If you guys have any questions about anything, let me know. I'm here. We can just sort of like, yeah, this is sort of a hangout. All right. Warpaint and unicorns. By the way, I love your username and your profile picture. Yeah, McCall and Simplicity used to be rival companies, and we merged with new ownership. Then they started to lose their printing houses for the patterns to be printed as well, for there been a strain. Okay. Yeah, I think I do remember reporting on the article that one of the printing manufacturers was shutting down the printing facilities, something like that. I remember that from a few years ago. It's nice. It's a nice extra to have digital. Yeah, it is. I mean, at least we have the option. Or say you need to make something tonight and you need the pattern immediately, then you don't have to worry about going to the store or getting something shipped to you. So I do think the digital patterns offer something in the way of convenience. And yeah, if the price is low for them and they have those if they've got sew-alongs and they've got some extra resources, I do think that is more, I think in my opinion, that's more direct competition with all of these indie pattern companies, especially if the designs are fairly similar. Now, again, another thing, indie pattern designers out here, one thing you can do to sort of insulate yourself as well is come up with designs that are so unique that they're hard to copy, or there's something that mainstream pattern companies just won't make. And I think that is one way to protect yourself from this type of competition. Again, I do see some indie pattern designers making very, very basic patterns. And again, no shade to that, but if you're making a very basic top, like a t-shirt, there are so many basic t-shirt patterns out there in the world that people have a lot to choose from. So I think if you're more unique and maybe you have a certain style that's hard to replicate, or that's a little more niche, that might protect you in terms of your design being a little bit more original, and then you don't have any competition because your design you're the only one who has a design like that. So, okay. All right, I'm trying to get these comments up. Okay, they're going a little slow tonight. I wonder how this will affect Joann's. I only go in to buy patterns. I wonder if, maybe this is one of the reasons maybe they'll try to partner with Ditto, is because Joann sells all the Ditto stuff. Or maybe they'll have some sort of partnership with a business like Joann's. I don't know. All right, Nikki's Crafty Life. Customer service seems to set the indies apart. I think it can, but I will say this. I've seen people complain and have valid criticisms for some of these indie pattern designers. And I think it can be hit or miss. I think some of the indie pattern designers do have really good customer service. I don't think it's all of them, though. I think you really have to vet these pattern companies, because I don't think they're all the same quality in terms of the pattern itself, the support material, like the resources, and the customer service. I think they're all different. I think there are some good indie pattern companies, and I also think there are some that aren't that great, in my opinion. So I think it really depends on the individual designer and the individual company. All right, Debbie, looking at shopping changes in the last several years, it seems that customers are shopping online and or digital more. So offering digital makes sense, looking at market changes. Exactly. And this is something people can buy while they're in their underwear sitting at home, and they don't have to go anywhere. And they also don't have to wait for something to get shipped to them. So I think this, again, this makes total sense. I think this is very low-hanging fruit for the parent company of all of these pattern brands. Not at all surprised by this. I think this makes perfect sense from a business standpoint. All right, but I hope paper patterns stay available. Me too, Debbie. I like paper patterns. Paper patterns are my first choice when it comes to clothing. All right, slow connection. When I signed on, I got a notification that YouTube crashed. I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think this is my software. It seems to be my streaming software and not anything with YouTube. So I don't think it's a YouTube issue. All right, agreed. I mostly make bags now, and most have been good. And the other thing I will say about the indie pattern company designers, I'm not going to name specific names, but some of them seem to have a pretty thin skin. And I have seen some criticism that some of these designers do not take any criticism or feedback very well. And I've kind of seen that firsthand where if a customer has trouble with a pattern or sees an error where I kind of feel like they're not taken seriously, and then they're like, well, blah, blah, blah. So I think it kind of depends, but that's the thing. I think if you're running a business and you're selling patterns to customers, I do think you should be pretty open to feedback and also be very willing and ready to admit when you made a mistake or where you could have done something better. I see a little bit of attitude with some of these people, and that's kind of a turnoff to me, where they're like, or they'll be like, well, I'm just a small business, they kind of make excuses. And I'm like, look, I understand that you're a small business, and I understand that it's hard, but when you're selling patterns to people and they're giving you money in exchange for a product, I do think you have some responsibility and accountability to make sure that product is good and to make sure your customers are happy. So I do see, I think, and I think that's just comes down to some people are more cut out for business than others. And some folks, are just, so to me, it's a turnoff when I see a designer or a small business owner make excuses when they should just be trying to make things right. That's just my opinion, though. I don't know. I've been kind of turned off to some. I'm not going to name anything specific, but some of these people just seem to not have and that's the thing, you have to have a pretty thick skin if you are in the public eye and you are a business owner. That's just the way it goes, All right, a lot of indie patterns within the costuming community don't have pattern grading either, as it takes time to do it from their perspective. They do either a size 6 or a size 12. Okay, so they don't even have all right, so you have to do your own. I wouldn't buy that. So basically you have to be a size 6 or a size 12 for it to work for you. Yeah, no thanks. I don't know about that. Wow. That's kind of interesting. All right, Denise, on the flip side, I have many fond memories of going to pick my pattern, then fabric and other materials, and heading home with my bag full of sewing goodies. That's really interesting that you bring that up, because that is a good point. There's something tactile and different about actually going to the store and purchasing things physically. And there's just something, I feel like maybe with the digital experience, there is a bit of a loss with that, in that you don't get that experience. You don't get that, I don't know. It is kind of a nice, cool experience. You kind of are taking away from that experience in itself. So I think that's a really good point. All right, Debbie, I also like a pattern that offers several versions, not just a sleeve length, but a variety of looks. Most Big Four does this. Some indies too, but a few really don't offer a variety. Yeah, you know what? You got a good point. And I've seen a few patterns where it's like, I'm going to be real. It's like a super basic design and the pattern is like $20. And I'm like, yeah, no thanks. Like, if I'm paying $20 for a pattern, for me, it needs to be something I can't get from a big four pattern. And sometimes it just doesn't, so again, if you want to, and again, I'm speaking to this from the perspective of indie patterns that need to compete with the big four pattern that's charging $4. If you're charging $20, are you offering $20 worth of value to a customer? All right, I had that experience with RLR patterns. I'm not familiar with them. I have not bought another since. All right, Tara's in the house. Hello, Tara. Hello, Tara. All right, your comment will come up eventually. I don't like change, and I fear the digital age will continue to take over, just like bye-bye to movie rental places. Crying emoji. Although I did use PDF patterns back when, quote-unquote, the world shut down. Yeah, I really hope that the paper pattern doesn't go away. Again, I just bought some more paper patterns myself. I really like them. I think paper patterns, there's just something special about them to me. So I really do hope they continue to offer the paper patterns because I personally am a fan. I really do like them. All right. So thank you, Tara, for the comment. Yeah, I think there's a lot to think about. But overall, I do think, I think as long as the Design Group America does not take away paper patterns and they just add the digital stuff, I think that's a positive thing. Again, I don't see any downside for customers or for them at this point, especially if they're able to offer PDF patterns fairly inexpensively and if they're continuing to offer more resources to us sewists. I think that's a really good thing. So I don't have any, I don't, all love for me from this news. I think it's cool. I think it's a very positive change. I also wonder, again, I think, I'm not into the sewing projector thing myself, but if a pattern came, again, I think if the Ditto pattern projector was cheaper, I would have bought one. If it was cheap and you didn't necessarily and here's the thing, while you could buy the patterns a la carte, the patterns that you had to buy a la carte were really expensive. They were $17. And I'm like, that just doesn't make it work. That really defeats the purpose of you buying a la carte because they made it so ridiculously expensive in comparison to the subscription that I just thought that just seemed very transparent. Kind of, definitely kind of like a money grab to me. But I don't know. Just my opinion. But it does seem like this would put all of these sewing pattern brands more in a position where they could be compatible with sewing projectors. If not the Ditto sewing pattern projector, maybe another one. Maybe there'll be some more competition in this area, something a little less expensive. I don't know. So I've got war paint and unicorns. Historical costumes tend to be a good starting point to get into that world, but there are books for self-drafting historical garments. That is way more advanced than I can do war paint and unicorns, but hey, I applaud you because that sounds really difficult. But I really appreciate everyone tuning in. Let's chat. I'm not going to stay on super long tonight because I have some other things I need to do. It is my rabbit's birthday today. She is 2 years old, and she's chilling and eating hay today. She got some special hay. So we're having a good day so far, I think. I don't know. I'm also, again, as usual, very congested at this time. Not sure why. But I'll show you what I'm working on today. This is it's very messy in here. I've got some scrap fabric. I've got all kinds of stuff kind of hanging out here. Gotta finish this. But we've been having fun today. Yes, thank you. Yes, happy birthday, bunny. Let me see if I can get a picture. Hold on a second. I'll pull up a picture of the rabbit real quick. Let me get my... All right. I do have a picture of her. Let's see here. All right, I'm looking. Oh, I found a cute one. Okay, I got a cute one for you. Okay, this is her eating. This is not today, but this is her eating cilantro the other day. This is her snack. So yeah, she's got a big old mouthful here. What a crazy rabbit. So this is Rubito Banana. She's 2 years old. Loving life. And that's her. Let me get this a little closer. This is her eating her cilantro. So yeah, that's rabbits for you. She got a big old mouthful. She's just enjoying herself. Just enjoying herself. She loves, she's such a happy rabbit. I just love her. All right. Oh, thank you, Denise. Happy birthday. Yeah, today is her birthday. Last year her birthday was on Easter, so that was pretty cool. So she was technically the Easter bunny. Got Tara. Thank you, Tara. And we've got we got a new viewer from Twitch. Hello. We've got Eektrix. Hello. Hi. Thank you for watching on Twitch. I didn't even realize we had any Twitch viewers, but that's cool. I'm kind of new to Twitch. I haven't streamed on Twitch in like years, and I just started like a couple weeks ago. So welcome if you are watching on Twitch. I really appreciate that because I am an old lady and I'm not that good at Twitch. All right, yeah, all right. So we got you are the sole Twitch viewer. So thank you for that. I really appreciate that. You know, I have not fed her dandelions. I also don't want to give her anything from our yard because everything's kind of treated. So I don't want to give her anything that might have like chemicals in it. But I would love to try to eat. She does, we do have some like kind of more wild hay, and it does have some like dried flowers. I think she's eaten that. And then I've also gotten her some botanical hay, which has flowers in it. She's not super crazy about it, but she'll eat it. She really likes oat hay a lot, and she loves alfalfa, but she's not really allowed to have a lot of it because it's very fatty. But she does really she enjoys a good hay. I think after this, I might shoot another video, and then I think I might have a burger. So I think we'll do that. But if you are just tuning in, we have been going over the changes that the big company that owns all of your mainstream sewing pattern companies has announced that they are going a little more digital. So if you are kind of just tuning in, this is what's happening now. As you can see, oops, okay. I think I accidentally, all right, well now I've got me and the screen, but all of these pattern brands are going to be doing a lot more PDF patterns, and all of the brands will be on one website. So instead of there being like a few different websites, there's just going to be one website, and it will be simplicity.com. They have not announced exactly when this will be happening. I have no idea when. Hopefully they'll be releasing some more information. But if this is news to you, this is the Sewing Report. So we're doing a little reporting today and hanging out. And that's what's going on. So we're just kind of catching up, seeing what's going on and how we think this is going to be impacting the sewing industry and the sewing community. All right, I don't know what's going on with my mouse here. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. All right. Got war paint and unicorns again. Twitch doesn't support the crafting community with a streaming category. It's weird because the platform is more watcher friendly. Yeah, I had to do like I think it was like the maker, I think it's like the maker category or something like that. Yeah, something along those lines. I'll have to check. I think that's what I'm under. It's like maker and visual arts or something along those lines. So but yeah, it is kind of fun to stream on all these platforms. It's cool. Okay, yes, maker and crafting. Because at first, I think the first week I did arts or something, and then I realized there was an even better category, so I just switched it over. So I will be simul streaming all of these live streams on Twitch as well as YouTube, the Sewing Report live channel. But anyways, guys, I really appreciate everyone tuning in. We've been catching up a little bit. I'm going to head out in a little bit to, I think I will shoot another video for the Sewing Report tonight, and I think I do need to eat something. Okay. All right. Oh, we got a few more questions, so we'll do the questions. All right, if this ever comes up, have you sewn any Marfie patterns? They have PDF as well as an option to. I have not. I've heard of them. From what I understand, they don't have a seam allowance, so you have to like do that yourself. And I heard they don't have instructions. Is this the Italian company? I'm not like, I'm going to be real though. I'm not that advanced of a sewist. I do like basic stuff, like, you know, like this, or like your basic, you know, like kind of your basic McCall patterns. I'm not like a super advanced garment sewing person though. And I've heard of it. I just, you know, probably not unless like maybe I can get a chip implanted in my brain to make me a lot better. Maybe something like that. I don't know. But if anyone has any other questions or comments, we'll read them live here on the air. So get them in now if you have any questions. Also, we're going to give another shout out to today's live stream sponsor, which is the Sewing Report Etsy shop. We have fabric and sewing supplies for all of your needs, and new for 2023, I am starting to make little items and sell them, like these scarves for purses and handbags. I will be offering more of this type of product in the near future. Lots of stuff here. I'm also running a sale on quite a few different fabric bundles and notions. So lots of different choices here if you are in need or just want to browse, do a little window shopping. This channel, Sewing Report Live, is not monetized. So right now we are relying on viewer support like you, and also my monetized channel, The Sewing Report. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers for this channel to get monetized, so help me out if you're here. Hit the like button wherever you are and subscribe or follow this channel to get more all live, all the time live streams with The Sewing Report. But we will be doing stuff like this. We'll be doing different news happenings in the community. I'll also be sewing live. So if that sounds like fun to you, join me here at Sewing Report Live. I would greatly appreciate it. But yes, this channel not yet monetized. So I am trying to get there. I'm working my little tush off to try to get this channel monetized. And I'm also really working hard on the Etsy shop, which is today's live stream sponsor. All right, we got Brenda in the house. Late arriving, but I will watch the video after the live. Yeah, I do that a lot too. I'm curious about this announcement. Thank you. All right, well, thank you, Brenda, for tuning in today. All right, guys, I think I'm going to head out soon, but I hope everyone has a great night and a great week. I will be back on Sunday. I think we'll do some live sewing on Sunday. So today is Monday. So we'll be doing some live sewing on Sunday. Probably in like the late afternoon, depending on when I get up. But if you are watching this on the replay, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. You got any questions or just want to sound off? That's welcome too. Anyways, I'm Jen with the Sewing Report, and I'll see you again in the next one. And remember, whatever